Hi, my name's Seikara and I've been a fan of this franchise for a very long time. I saw the greatness that it has achieved through Assassin's Creed 2 and the abomination that it has created with Unity. With the exception of Black Flag, every other game fluctuates maybe between average and above average. This video has been a long time coming for me. What do I mean by this? It means that I'm done watching as my favorite video game series slowly dying because nobody at Ubisoft has half the brain to implement the correct changes and improvement that this game really needs in order for it to flourish and evolve. This is going to be a very in-depth video covering everything about what I have to say about this game and the entire series as a whole. I'm going to be using Syndicate as my primary example because it's the latest game release and it's the one I have just recently finished. I'm going to start this review off by going over what I do like about Syndicate, but a large majority of this video is going to be me critiquing the game and pointing out a lot of its flaws and hoped that someone from Ubisoft will watch this and understand some of the heavy concern and issues that are plaguing this game, so better changes and improvement can be made in future installments. So, what did I enjoy in Syndicate? Quite a lot actually. It's more than I've ever expected, surprisingly. I really enjoy the city of London. I think Ubisoft did an incredible job and I had a ton of fun exploring it. The graphics looks very nice and if you're able to run the game on max, do it. The stealth has been marginally improved from the previous game. Now you'll be able to mark enemies and see them through walls. The mini side activities that you're given by your associates are interesting and enjoyable, and among my personal favorites are fight clubs and horse racing. The Charles Dickens questline that you're provided with are among some of my personal favorite side missions in the game. It was really entertaining to play and I was never once bored doing it. It's simply one of the best parts of the game by far. The rope launcher was a really wonderful addition. One I feel is almost necessary, specifically in this game, with how tall and big the buildings of London are and how separated they can be because of roads, parks, and train tracks. It's gonna take you a very long time to climb, especially if you're inclined to explore everything. Not to mention the control has been shit since Unity, more on that later, so what you get in the end is all of these different factors coming together to make the rope launcher a required mechanic than a convenient accessory. This next one is a controversy for a lot of people, and it's the combat. Now, let me explain more on this. How I feel about the combat isn't a clear-cut answer. I like it and I fucking hate it. I'll tell you as to why I hate it later, but the reason why I like it is because of the brutal multi-kill animation that you're rewarded with by dispatching more than one enemy at near death. What you get is an incredibly satisfying kill that will end multiple enemies at the same time. Enemies can do more now than just attack you or just sit there while you murder their friends. It will block, which will stop any incoming damage, and you will have to stun to break their block. I thought that was a really nice change. You can now perform multi-counter finisher along with fancy combos where you can pull out your pistol and shoot them in the face after you stun them. Another nice addition to Syndicate is the combo meters. Not only is it useful to keep track of how high your kill streak is, but it also rewards you with extra XP the higher your combo get at the end of every fight. So overall, no matter how much you loathe the combat, you cannot tell me that the combat animation isn't awesome, because it really is. Alright, this next one is going to be a minor spoiler in terms of story, so if you haven't played the game yet, and I highly advise you to skip this part and move on to the next one. 3-second warning. 3, 2, 1. Okay, finally, the last thing I absolutely love and appreciate is the ability to go in the future and play in World War I. Even though it was brief and you only have a limited amount of space to explore, it was still extremely awesome to experience and to see just how dark and gloomy the city can be with German Zeppelin flying over London as you try to eradicate hidden German spies from the city before it's too late. Did I also mention that you get to meet Winston fucking Churchill? That's fucking awesome. Now, the reason why I even made this review in the first place. Let's talk about what Syndicate did get wrong, and what must be changed and improved if Ubisoft plans to borrow certain aspects of this game to future installments. This is going to be very long, and I suggest you grab like a glass of water to keep you busy. I'm going to start off with some minor points. Overall, just things that slightly annoys me, and we'll work it down from there to more serious issues. Number 1. Everything in this game is too overly bright and white. The main menu is overly bright, the inventory is overly bright, the loading screen is overly bright, the collectible are white, objects are highlighted white. Everything is so goddamn bright and white that I can't even read the numerical increase on my weapon because the color would blend right into the fucking background. I have never squinted so much in an Assassin's Creed game before. Can we please tone it down in later games? Or maybe, I don't know, add more colors? Number 2, there is no respect option for skill points. Do I even have to explain myself as to why this is important? Number 3, the Secret of London's music boxes are poorly done substitute for what was supposed to be the Hidden Assassin Tomb questline. A questline where you used to enter beautifully designed hidden tomb and overcome fun challenges to uncover a long lost key to unlock a priceless armor set. Now, instead of creating small amount of ambitious new hidden tombs for players to explore, now you'll be wasting your time tracking down stupid mini hidden music boxes that's just scattered randomly around the map. A majority of them are even placed in open area in broad daylight, not even hidden. It's immensely unsatisfying when you do find one because you did nothing to find it. Sometimes you just run across by one by accident. Also, the whole concept doesn't even make any sense. A previous assassin created those keys to protect his precious treasure, and only the most determined and skilled may obtain it. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and throw it randomly around the map and hope that nobody with ill intention can get a hold of those keys. Do you see what I mean? How does that even make any sense? Please, Ubisoft, if you do plan to bring this tradition back, make sure that it's tombs and not this bullshittery. Number 4. When I first saw this, I was speechless. I was literally speechless for a good 30 seconds. And to this day, I still can't, for the life of me, understand why anyone would do this. Why do I need to collect 30 flowers just so I can have more dyes for my outfit? What? It's not even like you have many options in the first place. There are only 16 colors in the game, and 7 of them can only be unlocked if you decide to waste your time collecting fucking flowers. How does this make any sense, Ubisoft? I should not have to go out of my way to roam the entire city of London looking for flowers just because I want something as simple as dye for my fucking outfit. I have been playing video game for over 10 years and I have never seen anybody do this before. This is absolutely insane. Players should not have to work that hard to obtain something so minuscule as dye for their fucking outfit. Please, for the love of God, change it next time. Number 5. Too much of your arsenal are dependent on story-related unlocks, associates reward, and unlocking hidden crates. You will often find yourself not being able to upgrade or switch to a piece of gear that you want because of those restrictions. There are not enough equipment in an inventory, and the vast majority of it can only be obtained through those necessary means. You need more gear that can be simply purchased by in-game currency. It also makes leveling up feel really inconsistent. Every time you gain a level, your character gets progressively stronger by investing points into stronger skills. But then when it comes to your equipment, you will very often find yourself stuck with various pieces of gear that is behind or ahead of one another in terms of level. So there you are getting better and better with every level, but your equipment won't reflect that at all. This is the inconsistent feeling that I'm talking about. We need more equipment in general, okay? We need more, and it needs to be spread out equally through each level. Number 6, there isn't enough variation when it comes to your inventory, especially weapons. There are only 3 weapon types in the game: cane sword, kuri, and brass knuckle. What happened to rifle, axe, dual wielding, mace, war spear, lance, etc.? Furthermore, each weapon feel exactly the same. There is nothing distinguishable between that 3 weapon types in terms of gameplay. Each weapon plays and feel exactly the same. You'll be doing the same thing using the same tactic as if you were using any other weapon. If you need inspiration, just look at the Dark Souls series. The attention and details that they put into each and every one of their weapons is astounding. Every weapon plays, feels, handle, and work differently. Ubisoft, I know this is a daunting task, but it's a necessary one, because what is the point in having different weapons and weapon types if they're just going to play exactly the same? Number 7, inventory gears need special attribute or ability, whatever you want to call it, besides just basic traits like attack, defense, and stealth. This is what's going to prevent all the equipment from being outperformed by other higher level gears. And it will make each piece unique and useful regardless of level. It's what's going to prevent players from just holding on to money and waiting until they get to the highest level and spend it on the best possible gear. You want players to spend their money as often as possible. If there are still people who don't understand what I'm trying to convey, I'll give you an example. Imagine you have 10 gauntlet, 1 for each level, and with each level, the gauntlet gets somewhat better with stat. Let's say you got to level 10, and you got the best of the best. If you got the best of the best, is there any reason as to why you would ever want to go back to using any other gauntlet? Of course not. Well, if you want, then in reality, how many of them are actually useful? Only 1, and that's the level 10 one, right? But what happened if you give the level 5 gauntlet the special attribute to increase your rope launcher distance by 50%? Now you have much more incentive to go back and switch. This is one small example of what you can do, and the possibilities are huge. But this is exactly what I mean. Giving every equipment unique special trait that's useful to the player will add more customization option and ensure that inventory stagnation won't happen. Number 8. There are multiple burrows on the map, each with different recommended level due to difficulties. But you don't see any visual or gameplay representation of that in any area. In every single one, all enemies look the same. They use the same weapon, have the same henchmen, and more importantly, they all play the same. How you would deal with a level 2 guard is still the same as if you were to fight a level 10 guard. The enemies won't adapt. They won't use any different tactic. Nothing will change. The only thing that get more difficult the higher the level is that they turn into more of a bullet sponge than they already were. That's extremely lazy. We need a lot more variations for enemy type and smarter AI. And oh my god, don't even get me started on the fucking AI. They are so stupid that it's laughably bad. I'm going to be extremely crystal clear on this. Whoever is in charge of the programming for AI either need to step up their game or get fired. That is how bad and retarded the AI are in this game. Next, creative increase in difficulty. And the key word here is creative. Don't just increase the health pool of the enemy. Like I said, that's extremely lazy. And lastly, better physical representation to reflect the enemy's difficulty. You got to wonder why and how a level 10 guard would still use the same weapon or wear the same outfit as a guard that you would see in the beginning of the game. Ubisoft, can we please have some creativity? Please. Number 9. There has to be a dialogue history box that play back conversation because lines during mission will get cut off too easily and too frequently. I'm sick and tired of listening to a conversation between characters only for it to be cut off because something unexpectedly happened or I accidentally get too close to an objective. Number 10. Jacob and Evie play exactly the same. There are 55 skills in total, and with the exception of only 3 that you can obtain towards the end of their skill trees, literally everything else is identical. Which begs the question, what's the point of even having 2 playable characters if they play exactly the same? If Ubisoft decided to make Evie the only main playable character, there would be literally no difference in terms of gameplay. Number 11. The control for the movement is too sluggish. It's sticky, it's slow, uncomfortable, and overall it feels very, very unsatisfying to move around. Which is horrible for a game that focuses on parkour and free running. It's kind of hard for me to describe the exact feeling, but I promise you, if you play the game, you will certainly understand exactly what I'm talking about. Number 12. There is a huge lack of quality endgame content. I won't spoil anything major, but what you will be doing is going to be practically the same. Endgame content is really important in RPG, and what you have here is nothing but a heap of disappointment, to say the least. Number 13. Let's talk about the story. I won't spend too much time on this because I can basically go on forever, and to keep spoiler to the minimum, I'm going to have it as vague as possible. So, to keep it simple, the plot is basically meh. It's not as god-awful as Unity and AC3, but it's nowhere near the standard of Black Flag or AC2. It's passable at best. All of the character, and I do mean it when I say all of the character, are completely forgettable. Crawford Starrick is the perfect definition of a villain who's evil for the sake of being evil. And he's not even interesting either. He's a blank canvas and the most boring villain I think I've ever seen for any Assassin's Creed game, ever. I can use this description for the entire cast of the game, but it's so blatantly done and so obvious on Starrick that I just have to point it out. He's just an awful character and is easily one of the worst part of the story. Jacob and Evie are possibly the best part of the entire story, but when you compare them to the cast of character, that's not even saying much.
What's this one going to
Evie
do?
will develop a relationship with a certain character in the game, and my god, is it one of the most atrocious relationship, if you can't even call it that, that I've ever had to endure. Let me put it in a simpler way. It was so poorly handled that you would think it was written from experience by a horny middle schooler that has never had any real life social interaction. The relationship feels incredibly forceful, artificial, and the progression of it just looks and feel really childish. That's not even the most insulting thing. I refuse to spoil it, of what happened, but when you do see it, I swear you'll be spending the next 10 minutes asking yourself, what the fuck just happened? What? Number 14. The same as last time. I won't go too deep into this one because I feel like it's something that won't get transferred into future installments, because I think it's something that was only created to fit the theme of Syndicate. I'm talking about the way Ubisoft handled the different Boro gang leader. Instead of making each leader have their own personality, their own backstory as to why and how they came into their position, their motive for doing what they do, and have their own self-contained questline that you can do, they're just a bunch of lifeless and boring NPC that you get to kill after you do a series of generic mini-side activities that you have already done like 25 times over for the other 5 gang leaders. It's boring, it's uncreative, and it's fucking lazy. Number 15. The combat. What can I say that haven't already been said by the 100 of other reviews out there? It's incredibly easy, to the point where you can literally take out an entire army of guards, no problem. There's not enough depth to the combat. It's just attack, press counter when they attack, and then stun when they block. That's it. Master that and you're basically good to go for the entire game. Button smashing for attacking is more effective than ever before and gets repetitive very quickly, and you'll often find yourself just headshotting everyone because at least that's more fun and faster than just smashing attack all day. Again, there's no depth to the combat, it's boring and it's incredibly easy. Number 16. Finally, let's talk about the main highlight of Syndicate, the Rooks. They're useless. Matter of fact, they can get downright annoying under certain circumstances. Most of you can already figure out why. But allow me to clarify more on this. I went over just how easy the combat is in this game, to the point where a child with mental disability would be able to finish it. If that's the case, then what is the point of the Rook being in the game in the first place? To help us out? It's obviously that we don't due to how easy it is. But that's not even the worst part. Remember how I told you the best part of combat was those brutal multi-kill animation? Guess what the Rook will do? They'll just completely sabotage it. Oh, nice quadruple setup you got there, Evie. I think I'm just gonna foil it by killing them off. Now there's only 2 left. Have fun. Do you see what I mean? Not only are the Rook completely useless by making the combat easier than it already is, but they can also be a huge pain in the ass and ruin the one last fun thing left about it. Also, just putting it out there, you gain no combo points for their attack, which means you're losing out on potential XP that you could have earned than if you were to engage fights alone. So, to recap, the Rooks are fucking useless. Don't hire them. I have a much better system to replace the one that I currently have here, but I'll save it for my next video if I ever get around to making it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, my thoughts and opinions on Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Like I said earlier, this video has been a long time coming, and it feels so good to finally put it out there. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan and you're offended because I criticized one of your favorite game, listen to me. This franchise has a very special place in my heart, and it had influenced my life in more ways than one, and I have always been grateful for that. So to see a once great franchise crumble into oblivion with no sense of direction is something truly disheartening to me. I want nothing but the best for Assassin's Creed. So for any fan out there or developers that watch this video, consider it tough love. I think I might make one more video discussing some of my personal ideas and changes that I feel will benefit and improve the game and really steer Assassin's Creed into a more positive direction. So if you're interested in that, I highly suggest you subscribe and to keep to date with some of my uploads. Yeah, I think that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, or if you don't, leave a dislike. If there's anything that you want to discuss with me or anything or any opinion that you would want to share, don't be afraid to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.